Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to the channel Crime Lines and Lies. Get to see you guys twice today. I love it. So I'm going to tell everyone hi and let them pile in. We are here to give our support to Brandy, Tyler, their children, and especially the little monkey. This case should be picking up a lot of traction. It should. And I think that our community can get it done. Good afternoon, Aggie. DT Driver, good afternoon. Muffin Top, you were dropping some crazy comments in the last show. I loved it. Aggie said, let's go. Justice for Michael Vaughan. Let's find him and then get justice. Let's find him and then get justice. I agree. Lisa, good afternoon. Ryan, hello. There's our friend Kevin B, who lost his voice at a concert. Our friend Pat. Hello, Tamara. Bailey and Riley's human. Hello. Oh, so you changed your name. So sometimes you guys change your YouTube name and I'm like, who is this? And then I'm like, oh, they changed their name. It's okay. Your secret's safe with me. It is. Carla, hello. Just me, hello. And I think I got Calmery, hello. We do have some new names in here. Hit the sub button, please. Be a shiner, not a whiner. Always welcome here. Fruit Loop, hello. Sarah Me, hello. Hope everyone's having a great afternoon. Well, it's only been afternoon here for 3 minutes. Nisa, hello. Gaelic Girl, hello. Lip Lock No More, hello. Fancy Clancy, hello. Sherry Preston. So I'm assuming that the reminders are working now. Novelist True Crime, hello. I know I'm not saying that right. I'm very bad about pronunciations sometimes. By the way, love the work. Love the work this channel does. Not me, besides mine. But Novelist True Crime. Unheard Not Forgotten. Casey Lou, hello. Maria, hello. Lisa, Brandy, and Tyler, we love you and hold the highest hopes for Michael to come home. And they do too. You're not going to hear past tense. You're not going to hear got gone. It's always when he comes home. They have the resolve, I'm telling you. They've done nothing but work, put out flyers, extend prayers and hope and just an amazing family in the face of the ultimate nightmare. Joanne, hello. Effie, hello. Hope everyone is doing good. Melanie, there you are. Speaking of another channel, Ashley Oaks. Yes, I just started watching his channel and really like it. I do too. So speaking of another channel that rocks its socks off, Cats, Chats, Crime and Coffee. Hello, my friend.
Hey, Brooks, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I have to join the I Love Novelist True Crime Junkies too.
He's done a lot of really good coverage on this case. I haven't seen all the work. I haven't seen all the work that's out there, but I do like it. I do like it. And yours, the one that you did showing the region, the map and everything was amazing. By the way, Kat made the thumbnail and it's one of my most favorite thumbnails I've ever had up here.
Oh.
I
thought the monkey was kind of cute.
Oh, I think it's adorable. I think it's absolutely adorable. And I think his mother's going to like it too.
Hopefully.
Hey guys, thank you for the super stickers. We got a lot of people loading in. So I don't really see any new updates in the case.
No, I haven't seen anything new recently. I've seen Brandy getting a lot of stick on Twitter, which is really hard to watch.
I don't like that at all.
No, I don't either. It's quite painful to me because I'll tell you something. What you were saying about Brandy and Tyler earlier, about them having this resolve and everything else, they don't just want their own child to come home and advocate for that. They do that with a passion, you know. They also advocate for other missing children. I've seen Brandy sharing pictures, messages, tweets etc., of a lot of different missing children. Through her own struggle, she's still managing to find the strength to advocate for other people's missing children as well. And I just think it's so hard when the pain that she's going through. You can see the pain, you can see it all over her. Um, and yet she still finds it in her heart and in her soul to advocate for her own child and for other people's children too. I think that's a real strength that that lady has.
It's a club that nobody ever wants to be in, yet
Right,
she is.
right. And she's getting
And
so much stick for it. It's just shameful, really.
well, people are shameful. People are
Mm.
shameful. And unfortunately, I don't mean this community, but there's a big sect of our society that are very big, selfish know it alls.
Hmm.
And if it's not the way they perceive it, it's wrong.
Right.
And I'm sick of it.
Yep.
It is clearly stated what happened. You
Yep.
heard her on Chris McDonough when she said they know everywhere we had been.
Hmm.
Hence why nobody is calling them suspects.
Right. And why the law enforcement have cleared them of involvement in Michael's disappearance.
Right. Amazing resolve. Amazing.
Absolutely.
Navalist True Crime says, I've had loads of terrible comments on Brandy on channel. I immediately block and hide these people. No time for it. Disgusting. And that will happen here too. We are
Absolutely.
an open discussion community. We absolutely are. Do we jump down the rabbit hole? Yeah, but we have to have something to back up our opinion. We just
Exactly.
can't go way out in the wild and say, oh, but I think this could have happened when there is nothing to support it.
Exactly. I think some people have got so caught up on other cases where the parents have been involved that they neglect to think about the parents that weren't involved and how they must be feeling at the loss of their child. Their child is missing. They have no explanation. They have no hope really, but they keep fighting against all the odds. And the parents, there should be a distinction made between those types of parents, if you know what I mean. When a parent is so clearly not involved and is innocent of anything to do with their child's disappearance, we can't be throwing shade at them at all, because what they must be going through is just heartbreaking.
It's the ultimate nightmare. It's
Right.
the ultimate nightmare. And the police have never, ever, ever said that they are holding them for questioning.
No.
They are suspects. Nothing. We're going to get through that today in this show. I'm going to lay all that to rest.
Hmm. Good. Because I think it's about time that people started accepting that this is an abduction case. This is not a sinister, the child may have been hurt or anything by the parents. This is a well, I don't know what the word is, specifically an abduction case. And I think we need to talk about that.
And I think it needs to be talked about a lot. I
Hmm.
think it needs to be talked about a lot. Navalis, thank you. He said, you guys have an awesome community built here. Says a lot about you by the people you attract. So all
Thank
we
you.
want is good people. So all we want is
Absolutely.
good people. We're never going to be right in any of these cases because we're not law enforcement. There's things they know that
Right.
we don't know, obviously. But we're
But
not just
also,
going to sit here and go, uh, you know, everyone's talking about, Brandy and Tyler, and it's an abduction case. So how about I spin it this way and
right.
really rattle some cages?
Right. And
Nope.
also, the victims need us to be good people. Ultimately, not just the family, Brandy and Tyler and their other children, but Michael needs us to be good people because he deserves to come home, deserves to be found. So it's important to keep it to the factual kind of level, on what we do actually know, rather than speculating on stuff that we have no clue about and that probably didn't happen anyway.
Exactly. If you want to speculate, do it on the phone with your friends.
Right.
But when you're putting it out there in the universe, aka the internet, you're causing a lot of harm and you're doing more harm to the victims.
Right.
That's
And that,
perfect what you said, Kat.
yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
I'm going to get to some comments. Do you have a
Cool.
second, Kat?
I have as many seconds as you like.
All right. Well, then I'm going to give you, well, we'll see. a beautiful, loving family, both working hard outside the home and at home, spending quality time with each other. I feel sorry for the dad. He would have been tired from work. This was probably his day off, and dealing with two young children would have been hard. Both parents shared this responsibility. There are older children as well. The family has really got out there to search and continue to. God bless this lovely family. Let's hope and pray for a positive outcome. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then 6 days ago, we have a hashtag Be Brandy Strong.
I like that.
Here's another comment. I wonder if there are any caves in the area they live in. I lived in Idaho in the summers as a kid, and there are tons of them in Jerome/Twin Falls area.
I know they have searched a lot of area.
Yeah, and that would be an easy place to hide, if you know what I mean. That would definitely be an easy place to hide. All the comments were nothing but pro Brandy, pro Tyler. There was a few that came in saying, well, I think this might have happened. Well, we're just not going to play the what if game with a child's life.
Right,
Sorry.
exactly.
I know it's fun on some channels, and we do keep things light here, and we do have fun. I'm not going to play the what if game or the Spidey senses game with a missing child. Not doing it.
No, and especially not because, you know, we do support the parents in this case, and they do watch this channel. So, you know, to keep it as kind of positive as possible, if only so that they know that there are people holding hope for them in their darkness, you know?
In absolute darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people say, well, how come the dad never speaks? How come the dad never speaks? Has anyone thought that he maybe can't speak about it? Not because he's guilty. No one thinks he's guilty that has a brain, but maybe because he can't get a sentence together without breaking down. He was there.
Right.
When Monkey was abducted. He was there when Monkey was abducted. Fruit Loop, right. These parents need all of our support. They do.
Yeah. Oh, they've got it here as well. They've got it. They've got it on Brooke's channel, and they've got it on my channel. 100%, no question about it. That comment, Be Brandy Strong, I think that's just got to be a hashtag that takes off, to be honest. That's brilliant.
I think so too, and I loved seeing that on the channel. So let's do a hashtag right now, Be Brandy Strong.
Yeah.
Typing it out right now.
Hopefully go on.
So I hope I spelled it right.
Yeah, you did.
Tamara said he may not be able to keep any type of composure.
Right.
You know, this is not for people's entertainment on YouTube.
Exactly.
Who are you to demand him to come out and talk to you, you selfish asses?
We already seen how devastating an effect this has had on Brandy, and she does put herself out there purely because she wants people to keep Michael's name in the public conscience. She wants people to keep Michael in their minds and their eyes. So when they're traveling or when they're going about their day, they're keeping it at the forefront of him at the forefront of their minds, so that they're looking for him. But we've seen the toll that has taken on her. And all we can imagine is that, you know, like I think you said before, like the family stuff has to go on. They have other kids. They have to go to work. They have to provide for those other children, as well as looking for Michael and making billboards and posters and giving them out and all of that kind of stuff. And that, you know, perhaps it's understandable why Tyler isn't able to stand in front of a camera and talk about what happened to his son. You know, it's to me, it's kind of understandable why he wouldn't be out there.
Well, and the one interview I've seen him in, it looked like he was about to pass out. I think it had such a psychological effect on him. We heard Brandy talking to Chris McDonough, where she had a hard time remembering everywhere she had been looking for him.
Yeah.
And that is something that happens. I'm sorry. It is. Hang on, I got to address this. at Brooks. I meant to type we're not offensive in any way. You didn't offend me. You didn't do anything wrong. I didn't see anything you said that was wrong. I loved your comments today. Love your comments from this morning and today.
We always appreciate your comments in chat.
Absolutely. So, hey, guys, thank you for putting that hashtag up. Use it whenever you can. Share this video. There are people that are new to this case. You know what I'm going to do. Don't forget, replay queen here. So bear with me. I'm going to go back to a very early newscast.
Yeah.
Then we're going to get to some new News Nations clips. I'm about to sneeze. Hang on.
Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you.
Okay, I'll be okay. I sucked it up. Hang on, Alexandra. You don't hear Brandy with a begging bowl. Nope,
Right.
you're not going to. She's more worried about finding her child.
Yeah.
There's a difference about wanting your child home and not wanting your child home.
Right.
It's black and white.
Yep.
It's
Doing
positive and negative.
Doing everything you can until you're literally on your knees in the snow begging for your child to come home, as opposed to sitting and posting on Facebook and doing lives on YouTube for no apparent reason.
I'm going to look at this real quick. Sorry, guys, I'm taking a lot of time going through the comments. Navla says, I have a video on the park and photos that were uploaded to it on Google in July. Wet kids playing. I think it could have put a target on the park / attracted an abductor in, put them in sight of a monkey.
I know that was one thing that Brandy did say a couple of months ago, was that she felt that she didn't necessarily feel it before Michael was abducted, but she got a sense that she thought that somebody had been either following them, watching them, or it was planned kind of thing by somebody that had been watching the family. She did say that.
And let's face it, we have our sixth sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
As parents, when we sense something is wrong, but we can't put our finger on it somehow, we still know something's up.
Yeah.
I believe her.
I believe her too. And it's quite possible. I mean, like Navala's just said, for example, if there was photos online that somebody had been watching them, yeah, it could have made them easier for them to try. I don't want to sound nasty there, but do you know what I mean? Like, they said that they often went for walks in the evening, went to the park in the evening. That was quite a regular kind of occurrence for them as a family, to spend time outside in the summer. And it was in the middle of summer when this happened. Weather was lovely, and they were would often take advantage of it. And that's when she said that she felt like perhaps there was somebody watching them.
It's hard to even digest. You can't even think about it. And here's the thing: abduction, honestly, is about a 1%. Not gonna lie, it is.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants something bad enough, they're going to get it.
Right. If somebody's that way inclined, like, and there's nothing that you could do to predict it or foresee it. There's nothing, literally nothing. I go back time after time about the testament to her strength that Brandy is. It's just, this is the worst of the worst situation, because nobody knows. The only person that knows is the person that abducted Michael. He's the only person that knows. And that, we can give her all the hope and all the support in the world, but she doesn't want that, really. She wants her boy home. She wants her baby home.
And she said to Chris McDonough, when he comes home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When he comes home. There's no past tense here. When he comes home, she will not, in her mind, even think. She already knows something bad happened. She knows her son is not at home.
Yeah. Yeah. She pleads for him every single day. Every single day. She's begging for him to come home and praying, and I just can't get my mind around it, what they're going through. But it kind of just makes me more determined than ever to keep this case going and to move this case forward in terms of public consciousness, because it is going to be people that live wherever he is being held that are going to notice something is up. The more people that know about this case, the more likelihood there is that somebody will notice that something is up in their neighborhood, and hopefully that will bring the great result of him being rescued and brought home. So I'm really up for this. I'll keep this case alive as long as possible, because it needs to happen. He needs to come home. Can't bear to think of Brandy without, for even going for one more day without holding Monkey in her arms.
No, me either. Me either. And think about the fact that there's no suspicion on your home, your friends, or your neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So you literally have a boogeyman out there.
Right.
I wonder how the community is feeling about this. I think about the Sean Hornbeck case in comparison with Monkey's case. The police said the exact same thing. If you see a family and there's a child there that doesn't seem to fit in, call us.
Yeah.
Call us. Call us. Call us. All right. So for those of you, I see a few people come in here that are new. I already said I was going to do it anyway, and you know I will. I'm just going to put an early clip up, then we're going to get to it. Navalis has a video. I don't have it loaded, but I'll find it. Hang on. There's little Monkey.
Continuing coverage of this missing boy in Fruitland. The search continues this morning for 5-year-old Michael Vaughan. He was reported missing Tuesday night around 6:30 near Southwest 9th Street and South Arizona Avenue in Fruitland.
Today, airtight timeline.
Yeah.
With the parents. I want everyone to understand that. Airtight. Brandy is at work. People saw her at work when she got to work, when she got the call, when she hung up, when she got the second call, or however that worked out. I can't remember now. And then she left. Airtight. Timeline.
Down to the minute.
Down to the minute.
And also, not only is their timeline tight, but every single sighting of Monkey from when he left his house to when he disappeared, every neighbor that saw him has an airtight time for their timeline too.
Everyone. And time in these cases is almost everything.
Absolutely.
Everyone understands time. We know the difference between 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But when someone can't account for 2 o'clock up to 7 o'clock, we know something's wrong. They have an airtight timeline.
Absolutely.
They search, and they're asking for the community's help now. Comes after a full day of searching yesterday from the air, on the ground with K9s. People from multiple agencies went door to door yesterday. They talked to neighbors. They searched fields, searched yards, and all in hopes of finding this little boy. Neighbors say they learned about the 5-year-old's disappearance around 7:30 on Tuesday night. They say Michael is a happy kid who lived.
Okay, so the neighborhood is alerted within an hour.
Well, by 7:30, it would have been within 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
I'm sorry, 30 minutes. Like I said, airtight time.
Yeah.
Airtight time.
Lived in this neighborhood with his parents and his grandfather. Cynthia Walker lives in the neighborhood. She was walking her dog as the search was happening.
At 5 years old, I don't know that he would wander too far without one of us seeing him by now. There are volunteers, many volunteers out searching, scanning the fields, and we just want to have Michael back. We want him home safe. We're just praying for the family, praying for Michael.
Okay, so this is back in July, and you listen to her. There's a lot of activity going on trying to find little Monkey. You can see what they're doing. You can hear the panic in her voice.
And they ran that search like most other searches are run. I think it's been described before by EquiSearch, how you start at the center point and you work your way outwards. Now, they searched I think it was 3,500 acres, every square inch and section of it. So he couldn't have wandered within that time frame. As far as, them searching, I think it was a week or 2 weeks solidly afterwards. They searched every inch of that ground. He couldn't have wandered that far within that time frame.
I think that's kind of what she's alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very impressive, Muffin Top. You're right. Look at how the
Yeah.
community came together. Yeah.
Oh, not only just on the day, by the way, just for anyone that doesn't know, but the police have turned up several times in that whole neighborhood. Every single one of the people in that neighborhood has had an open door policy for the police, as in, if the police turn up and they wanted to search your home, they say, come right in. Every door is open, every door is unlocked. Every neighbor has let them into their house on several occasions. They've searched every address in that whole neighborhood. There's not been one person that's turned around and said, no, you're not coming in here, or you're not searching here. They're welcome. The police force are welcome in their homes at any time. And the police have always made that quite clear as well.
And that's important to know, because that way it takes speculation off the neighbors.
The neighbors, exactly.
So then we can talk about the facts and
Mhm.
not have all the speculation. There could be some crazy neighbor. I'm glad
Right.
that they are being that transparent.
Absolutely. Me too. I thought that was quite
I thought
amazing
it was-
considering, sorry, sorry, Brooks. Just considering stuff that, we've heard about other searches and stuff and how other neighborhoods have reacted. And I know that you and I have spoken before about the difference between police turning up at your door in America and police turning up at your door in this country. They need warrants and all of that kind of stuff. These people have been like, please come search my home. Like, you don't need a warrant, just come in, the door's open kind of thing. And I thought that was something quite astounding for a whole neighborhood to come together like that. It was really impressive to me.
Yeah, if the police come to my door, they better have a pizza or a warrant.
Right.
'Cause they don't have time.
Right. But in this situation, I just thought it was amazing, considering what I know, that it wouldn't necessarily be likely in every neighborhood that every neighbor would be so welcoming and so open to having their home searched on that many occasions. I thought it was great.
I think it's
Probably really
amazing.
helpful.
And I think part of it too could be the guilt of the neighbors that saw him,
Mhm,
but you
mhm.
can't foresee this.
Mm-mm.
They've probably seen, kids running around outside many times, and they go right back home. They didn't
Exactly.
think that day they had to walk him right back home.
Right. The neighborhood's quite small. It's not like a huge neighborhood. It's quite small. Everybody knows everyone else's children, and they probably seen him out and about before, or thought that maybe one of his older sisters or whatever was taking care of him or watching him, or it probably didn't even cross their mind really. There were kids out and about that evening. It wasn't an unusual occurrence. There were other children on the street. They said that they thought he went in looking for other children to play with, so there must have been other children out and about as well at that time. They probably didn't even give it a second thought.
I don't think they did. And I know a lot of the neighbors are getting crucified, and I get it, because we aren't there. We weren't there at the
Right.
scene. So it's like, well, you should have walked him home. Hindsight's 20/20,
Exactly.
but you didn't know that there could be someone that was scoping him out. They didn't know.
This is always the kind of thing that happens in somebody else's backyard. It's always the kind of thing that you think it will never happen here. It would never happen in this neighborhood. This is a safe, welcoming neighborhood. But this kind of thing, it just goes to show that this kind of thing can happen anywhere, and it can't be foreseen or predicted.
No, it cannot. No. And crime and justice, you're right. It's not unusual in small neighborhoods to see children running around the neighborhood playing. It happens all the time. It happens.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's, it happens here too. Not necessarily in my neighborhood, but that's because I don't have many children that live around here. But I know where, my parents live and stuff. You quite often see kids running in the street, playing on their bikes or playing with other kids or whatever. It's quite normal.
It is. We have a kid here, and he has one of those motorized scooters, and he goes up and down and up and down and up and down. I've never come out of my house and been like, let me walk you back home.
Right, exactly.
Red is in effect for Michael right now. He is considered an endangered missing person. And obviously, we all have very high hopes that we find Michael today. Help to find him has come from all around our region, including Idaho State Police. Fruitland Police are now asking everyone who lives there to please search around your homes. And they want people to search their crawl spaces, their sheds, trailers, vehicles, anywhere that a boy could be hiding or even stuck right now. Again, this is a photo of Michael, blonde hair, blue eyes, about 3'7", last seen wearing a blue Minecraft shirt, dark blue briefs. If you know where this boy is, call 911 or the Payette County Sheriff's Office. And once again, the Fruitland Police Department is coordinating a citizen search this morning. So many of you have reached out to me and asked me if you can help. This is your moment. It will start in the southern parking lot of Fruitland High School at 9 a.m. They'll be searching between 9 and 1 p.m. with the public today. This is an organized, coordinated search with authorities. So please go to Fruitland High School to begin that search. Doug?
Amazing. Okay, and on top of that, they knew exactly what he had on. They know exactly what he has on. It's not, he could have been wearing this, he could have been wearing that, he could have had on shoes, not had on shoes, the shoe size and everything. They know exactly, they know exactly what he had on. They know exactly.
They even know where he lost his flip-flop. The neighbor saw him lose a flip-flop. So they even know that, like, every detail. There's nothing been left out of this. And certainly not by the parents at all.
They're not going to leave out one detail.
Nope.
Because the smallest thing could be what brings Monkey home. They're not going to do it.
Exactly.
They're not going to wait a year and say, okay, now I'll talk to you.
Right. They've been so proactive, really proactive, these parents. And I'm not saying that obviously parents should be proactive when their child goes missing. But I just think, I come back to the word testament all the time, because I just think that they are a testament to themselves, really, their own strength and their own motivation, I guess, to bring Monkey home. It's astounding. It's astonishing.
I don't know how they're keeping it together. I don't, but they have to. They have to for Monkey. They have to for their children that are at home. They have to for each other. When I saw Brandy in chat and we were talking about, I'm bringing up another case about how in the Wells case, they believed an abductor was on their property and they sent the boys out. Brandy was in chat and she was like, oh, not me.
Right.
Like she would not let her children out of her sight. No, you have to stay here.
Yeah, I think she did. That was for at least a month, if not longer. Even if now she lets them out of her sight, I don't think she lets her children out of her sight at all. I mean, that just seems like such a normal reaction to me. Like, I can't understand why it doesn't happen in other cases. Well, I can kind of understand it because of the thoughts I have about them. But, she's just an astonishing woman.
She is.
She's got it all going on upstairs.
Well, what she has is in her chest. She's heart.
Yeah, exactly.
She loves her children. She wants her son home.
Yeah.
She wants her son home. And those people that are out there behind their computers, their tablets and their phones that are giving these people hell, trying to act like they're law enforcement and put the case together, shame on you.
Right. And I hope that they never have to go through anything that's even a quarter of the pain that this family are suffering. Because it's very easy to sit there and judge. But in actual fact, if they actually ever put themselves in the shoes of those parents, I don't know if they're able to.
You can't. I mean, you look at Stacey Jones and everything she's going through. You look at Bree Michelito. Today I saw on Facebook, finally today, Corey's father was charged with murder.
Oh, wow.
She has been fighting the fight for almost a year. Almost a year. There are parents out there that are good people and terrible, terrible things happen to their family. Yep. And the fact that these internet assholes think they know more than the people that were there or law enforcement investigating it, go to hell.
Right.
You're going to be there anyway.
Mhm.
Let's just get it over and go there now.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So I played a couple of minutes of this by Jennifer Coffindaffer on News
Mhm.
Nation on the first show about Monkey. First,
Yeah.
I'm going to put her tweet up. Hang on, because it's great. She says, "We haven't forgotten you. Hashtag Michael Vaughan. Going on 8 months and no new information. Ellie following up on all leads no matter the source.
Mhm.
Mother Brandy remains distraught. I spoke to the FBI SSRA on the case. The FBI is committed to doing everything they can to solve the case." And in this case, it's harder because they're not going to find anything on mom and dad's phone,
Mm-mm.
the siblings' phones, the grandparents' phones, the friends' phones, the neighbors' phones. They
Yeah.
are truly looking for a stranger,
Yeah.
not associated with the family.
And from what you said about what the GPS signal and like phone signal is like around that area, especially once you get onto that interstate thing that you were talking about that goes between there and the West Coast. I mean, it could just be impossible to trace anybody in that kind of environment.
You would have to know who to ping. You can't ping everybody. You can't
Right.
get warrants on everybody's phone. It's a
Right.
wonder they haven't figured that out. But anyway, so I don't know about that area. Just from personal experience, my husband and I were traveling out of Idaho down Highway 93 into Las Vegas. And it was a solid, I'm going to say 3, 4, 5 hours
Mm-hmm.
of absolutely no signal.
No.
No, there was nothing. And that was my first thought. That's where, you would be going because they can't trace you.
Right. I think that's what concerns me more, because I didn't know that, obviously, because I don't live there. But knowing that if whoever took Monkey went on that route, they knew they couldn't be traced as well, and that's probably why they went that way. It's quite a vast expanse of area to not have any cell phone coverage at all. No
And
gas
it's me.
stations, no
And
CCTV. Like,
no, there would be none. I'm
mm-mm.
telling you, I've been down that highway.
Mm.
It scared the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, you can't
Right.
make a phone call.
No.
The CB didn't work. You have zero signal at all. Nothing.
Yeah, it's quite worrying.
Mm-hmm. The GPS was spotty going down 93. I'll say that.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's kind of when you have to pull a 1979 and get out the old atlas.
It's just fine as long as you don't break down. I can't imagine like what would happen if your vehicle broke down on that expansive route. It just blows my mind.
Navalis said, one right turn and straight onto the interstate highway. Now, which highway are you talking about? Because I'm more concerned about someone getting to 93, heading south into Nevada, and you are off the grid.
Mm.
Been there. Cimarron Way says GPS works off of satellites. Well, that's good news. I'm saying, me personally, when I was on that highway, we could not get a GPS signal. If it could pick us up, wonderful news. Abductors do their homework.
Mm-hmm.
They do their homework. So whatever tracking device they have in their vehicle, they're going to make sure it's not on.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. Okay, Navalis said, yes, that one, 93. So it's not too far from Fruitland to 93. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on it. Scared the hell out of me. And I wasn't in any danger.
I guess there was a lot of focus at the time on Oregon being really close because they're only like 6 miles away from the border of Oregon. And I'm wondering now whether that was almost too close, too nearby kind of thing, because I think the states are cooperating with each other in terms of, you know, resources and funding and searches and police and all of that kind of thing. But I just wonder if that was too close, and if that highway does go out in that direction, then that's more likely an area where it was needed to be focused rather than Oregon. Maybe that was too close.
I've been that way into Oregon too, and there's a signal the whole time that this was planned.
Yeah,
planned.
they went to all the effort to watch the family. Let's go with that as an example, that to the point where they were looking at pictures on Facebook to find out what parks they frequented, or where they went for their evening walks, for example, or how often Monkey would be left alone unattended, for example. So if they went to all of that trouble, they're not going to make the mistake of going somewhere where they can be tracked within a few hours, I guess. That's what I'm thinking.
No, I
They're
think
more
you're
likely.
right. No, I think you're definitely right. And the mind of an abductor who's going to take a child is not anything we can wrap ourselves around.
Oh, no, absolutely not. But if we just think about it in clinical terms of being that organized, being that well thought ahead and thought through, then that would be to me, the obvious conclusion would be that you went out of range of being able to be tracked, rather than driving into another state where you could quite easily be picked up on a radar within a few hours.
No, you're exactly right, especially in this day and age where there's tracking everywhere. Someone knew where to go. They couldn't be tracked. They knew. They knew where to go.
Yeah.
If it's the Honda Pilot, we don't know that he was in the Honda Pilot the whole time. The Honda, well, I mean, they would have found the Honda Pilot by now. Honestly, I don't know. It's Sue said, how about radio walkie-talkie? The highway I was on, there was zero signal. Zero. It was Highway 93 out of Idaho into Nevada. I need to get my husband on here. He can tell you more about it, because he's damn, I have no GPS. We have nothing.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to message him right now and say, grab the link. Navalis, if you want to grab the link, come up too. So this is the full interview with Jennifer Coffindaffer. Yeah. And she explains more. She obviously knows a lot more than me. So we kind of go to the experts on here, if you know what I mean. Our speculation and theories don't find children, but people like Jennifer Coffindaffer do. So let's go to the experts. Here we go.
We continue to follow a missing case tonight. A 5-year-old from Idaho. His name is Michael Vaughan. He disappeared after walking out of his family's home in Idaho almost 5 months ago and has not been seen since. Police have said that it is increasingly possible that Michael was abducted, yet his disappearance at the time did not trigger an Amber Alert. I have a lot of questions about this case. I know you do as well. I'm going to bring in Jennifer Coffindaffer now. She's a former FBI agent. She's been closely following this case for the past couple.
Okay, let's talk about the Amber Alert. This is a big confusion in every case.
Yeah.
I believe, now I don't make the laws. Okay, guys? Half of the people I talk to don't even vote or research who they're voting for. Here's the whole thing. It's different in every state. When a child goes missing in my state, okay, which is Oklahoma, they have to have a vehicle description and hopefully a tag number, or they will not issue an Amber Alert. There are some states, if a child is basically just out of sight, it's an Amber Alert. It should be the same in every, it should be the same nationwide.
Right. Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion about the reasons for not having an Amber Alert or for having an Amber Alert. It's actually been turned down twice in Idaho by the Idaho authorities. There was a campaign to try to get an Amber Alert and everything else, but there was one certain criteria that they just couldn't, because it's guidelines in Idaho. It's not even like, you know, if your child doesn't have a vehicle, it's guidelines. so they don't have to issue an Amber Alert. And from what I understand, Idaho and Oregon don't issue Amber Alerts very often at all. They're not the kind of states that use them for every child. They seem to be a lot more guarded about using them. I think there was some talk about it becoming what's the word, insignificant if they issued an Amber Alert too often, because people would stop taking notice of them. But
because there's a difference in missing children. So if you have an Amber Alert for every child that goes missing, let's say you have a 12-year-old that has snuck off with her friends. I mean, they're definitely endangered, but you don't bring out every piece of equipment you've ever thought of in the state and the National Guard and call in other states. That's what they're saying. And they all need to agree and get it uniformed. They just have to, because it's too confusing. And if there's an echo, I'll figure it out. But if not, just read the closed captioning. I might have to mute Kat. Maybe that's where the echo is. I can't mute myself, or you can't hear it.
Of months. I'm going to spend a couple minutes with Jennifer asking my questions, and for you at home, all of you on social media who have been wanting to know about Michael's disappearance, you've got questions on your mind, you can send those questions to Twitter using the hashtag NewsNationPrime, and then after the next commercial break, we'll have your questions for Jennifer as well. Jennifer, as always, thank you. This case came to our attention in a fearful way. We saw this little boy's face, monkey as his mom calls him, just vanished into thin air. I want to begin with what the mom said a moment ago in the piece. She said, I believe somebody may have been watching our family when my son disappeared. There was a white car in the area that police are looking into. There was a man in that drainage tunnel that was unfamiliar. And also you heard police say there's an increasing possibility that Michael was abducted. As an investigator with your years of experience, what stands out to you about this little boy and him vanishing?
Okay, so right here, Brandy is saying somebody was watching them. I just saw a comment in here. Love it. Sherry. Second, they choose their victim. Third, they watch family patterns, figure the right time. Fourth, they act on their plans. An abduction is never, I'm just going to take this child, because you don't know what you're going to do with the child. You don't have to have specific plans.
Absolutely.
And I feel bad for Brandy having to hear News Nation talk, the local media talk, us talk. I really do. I really do. The fact is, we have to get all of this out there because abductions do happen. They do. But the people that want to instantly drag up family past, talk about how they acted in this interview and this interview and this interview, they're hurting this little boy on the screen. They are. And if they are calling, if they're calling the number scrolling at the bottom of the screen with a bunch of bullshit they heard from a tarot card reader, you know where you can go. All right, I'm going to mute Kat and put this back on, because I guess the echo, something's bouncing around. We'll figure it out.
Well, you perfectly laid out, Marnie, all the facts that I would have said. This little boy is 5 years old. He's not a runaway. He's not visiting a girlfriend. This little boy is gone and missing, last seen literally going door to door in his neighborhood, very vulnerable for being abducted. There was an unfamiliar car in the area, an unfamiliar man in the area, and there is no reason to suspect he is anything other than abducted.
Okay, so Jennifer, this is my question, but
okay, and she knows what she's talking about. There is nothing else to suspect except he was abducted. Did you catch that, Kat? Oh, hello, Kat.
Hey, sorry, I refreshed because I wasn't sure about the echo. Yeah, I caught that, and that's what I think. We've always said if it comes from an official source, then that's what we go with, and it's an official source that have said that Monkey was abducted. So there's not really any discussion to be had about what else could have happened? Who else, you know, in the family might have been involved? The authorities have spoken, and as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. That's what we should be running with, going with, talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about, because that's what happened.
Exactly.
If they're not going to say it's an abductor, if the family did it, hell, if your suspects are right down the street from you, that'd be a much easier crime.
Right.
Your rookie cop could break them.
Yeah.
At some point, people are crazy. Abducted means taken. Exactly.
Right.
Kidnapped usually means money's involved. You're right.
Yeah. They're not asking for a
I have
ransom.
No. And I agree with this. I'm all over the place with this because you guys are putting a lot of stuff out here I love. If you want to call just to be calling and aggravate, call the lawmakers and insist on an Amber Alert. It starts locally.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know who their local representatives are. They don't even know what they're voting for. I'm not saying you guys in here, but there's a lot that just have no idea. They're dumbasses. I want to vote for this guy because did you see his commercial? He was standing by that plane and he was saluting the flag. Awesome. No, what you have to do is, what do they really stand for? You know,
exactly.
if your state basically whitewashes the Amber Alert and it's put up for everybody, okay, well then I guess that's already done. But if they're very conservative about it, you might want to reach out and say, you think you can loosen the belt a little bit?
At least explain to people maybe why there isn't an Amber Alert if there isn't one. Because, you know, like I think someone said earlier in the chat that in their state, it's after 12 hours, they won't issue an Amber Alert. Well, this has been like 8 months. And if that was the case, then they could come out and say, we don't issue Amber Alerts after 12 hours. People would maybe understand why not. But at the moment, I don't think there's been any clarification put to the public as to why there's not an Amber Alert. And I think that's what's caused a lot of confusion and speculation with people is, well, it must be because of this. It must be because of this. The fact is, it's been turned down twice officially by the officials in that state. So, but they have not explained why, which I don't think is helpful. It's not helpful to me anyway, to not know why.
I can figure it out because it's different in every state. And when I say act of Congress, I mean, it takes an act of Congress to change things. It really does. It's different in every state. Now, let me ask you guys something. I know a lot of people are like, I watch my kids every second of every day. I did not. I would like to think I did. I tried my best. Did my kids ever get out of the house and say I'm going to go in the backyard? They didn't tell me. They didn't announce it. I'm in one room. I walk out and I look out the window and I'm like, hell, they get outside for? How many of you, there's no shame, have your children ever gotten out of your sight? I'm asking. How many of you have your children ever gotten out of your sight? It's happened to me multiple times. My children are adults. They're adults. I have seen many, many comments where like, you can't take your eyes off your kids. You can't take your eyes off your kids. You have to take your eyes off your kids. You know why? You have to shower. You have to sleep.
Right.
There are many reasons that you take your eyes off your children. When you have someone studying your family, they know your patterns. They know when you're not watching. It's not your fault.
They know when you're at work or one of your parents, they know when one of the parents is at work. They know when one of the children is likely to come out of the house, what kind of time, who's going to be around, all of that kind of stuff. If it's planned to that extent, then they know that detail.
And shift change is a big one. Let me tell you, if she was just going to work and he was coming home from work or however this was happening, I don't really know. I'm making an example.
Yeah.
So he's getting settled in from his work day. She's off to work. So he's getting settled in. That's another thing.
Yeah.
He's changing the baby. Everyone's getting settled in. Time to start making dinner. So you have that distraction. Anyone that says, I watch my children all the time, You are lying.
Mm.
In your mind, you believe you do, but you couldn't possibly.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't possibly.
Been following everybody on social media asking me very same thing about an Amber Alert. People want to know, why was an Amber Alert not issued? The Idaho State Police did send us some clarification on this case early on. They said with the information that was available in this case, we made the same notification as an Amber Alert. It's called EMPA. It's an emergency missing persons alert. But they said the state of Idaho follows national best and proven practices on endangered missing persons alert. So help us understand the decision by Idaho State Police or police in any matter when a child goes missing.
Well, essentially, the Amber Alert being the gold standard for being able to find missing and abducted and endangered children is kept very close to the vest in terms of being able to issue one. They are used very sparingly. About 7 out of 10 cases in terms of those that have been issued an alert are actually recovered. And 17% of the 7 out of 10 are actually directly attributable to that alert. So they don't want to desensitize that alert.
Okay, and that's what happens in a lot of states.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to put an alert out for every child. It could be a custodial problem.
Yeah.
Dad didn't bring, Junior home, or mom didn't. That's the thing.
Yeah, I guess like they said, if it becomes overused, then possibly people get desensitized to seeing them. But I guess
they'll stop looking.
Mm-hmm.
They'll stop looking. It's got to have that, believe it or not, I'm sorry, I'm saying it the wrong way. I know I am, but I got to say it this way. It's got to have that shock factor.
Mm-hmm.
If you're seeing them every 2 seconds, you're like, oh, hell, they'll find them.
Right.
You know how we are. When you desensitize people like we are, trust me, what we see on the news 50 years ago would have made people have a damn heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
We have been desensitized over time to get used to crime. Okay? We have. So if every 2 seconds it's your phone's blowing up and Amber Alert, Amber Alert, Amber Alert, Amber Alert, you're like, damn, after a while, you're going to say, no,
we're going to turn it
longer notify. Right. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've only had, we don't have Amber Alerts in this country, but I did have an emergency alert come through when I was driving one time. And I about shit my pants and threw my phone out the window. I was so scared. I was like, what the hell is that noise? And when I looked at it, it was like, oh, we're testing emergency alerts in your area. And I was just like, yeah, I'm turning that setting off because I'm not having that happening again. So if there's an emergency alert for any reason in my area, I'm not going to know about it because I turned the setting off because it made such an awful sound and made me jump while I was driving. So I became desensitized really quickly.
Let me tell you how a little bit of an echo. How desensitized I am. Obviously not about missing children. Okay. We get tornadoes quite frequently here. Okay. I live in Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
I hear that alarm and I sleep through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
We don't want people to get used to it.
No.
Daily wonder. Amber Alerts are good. Amber Alerts are awful because it means it's a missing child. I see what you're saying.
The outcomes of Amber Alerts is rated very, very, very highly.
Yes. She said, but what's better? I don't know what's better. That's why we're having this discussion. Should every child get one to the point where people don't pay attention to them because we know how people are? Or do they keep them specified for in the most endangered cases?
Right.
I mean, you be the judge. I'm never here to give anyone to force my opinion on anyone.
It sticks out to anyone in law enforcement who is a part of receiving this alert because they know it means there's an endangered child. For all of the citizenry, when we receive that alert on our phone, we immediately take note of what the details are and we're on the lookout. It truly is the way to find missing children. So sadly, in this case, because they didn't have enough information to say at that particular time that he was abducted, they instead went with an endangered missing person. Now, an endangered missing person in Idaho, the list has over 40 from ages 100, mostly middle-aged people who are missing. That does not rise to the level of this situation in terms of what we're looking at here in terms of the probability of abduction.
It just doesn't have the same urgency, right? You see an Amber Alert come across your phone, you immediately look at all the identifying factors. It doesn't have the same effect 5 months later either. Not being critical of the investigation, but from the parent standpoint, you want everything you can, right? You want all hands on deck. Jennifer, something else that Marky passed along to us. She did search registered sex offenders in Michael's neighborhood. The state database reveals 6 within a mile radius of his home. Would police automatically search those homes and question those individuals as part of their initial investigation?
Yes, I would have expected that to be the first thing done. There was one just doors down from him, really, blocks away. So that should have been immediately looked into. And I would suspect it has been looked into if it was done properly, which I have no reason to think that the Fruitland Police Department did not do a proper investigation.
And
okay, so she puts that to rest because I know a lot of people keep saying, but there's so many sex offenders, they're everywhere. That's actually one from different cases I followed, one of the first things they do.
Yeah.
In the case of Hannon Staunch, Letitia said that he ran away, is what she kept trying to say. Well, we know what happened. We know what happened. She murdered him. One of the first things they did, besides start looking for Gannon, before they got the equipment or everything, is they had officers going to the sex offenders' homes.
Right.
That's one of the very first things they do.
I mean, it just makes the most sense, doesn't it, really?
Oh,
You've got someone in the neighborhood that's, got a history or it was known for that kind of thing, then of course you're going to go check them first.
That would be one of the first things you would do. I mean, and it also depends on their tier, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Now, when I was growing up until about, I'd say I can't remember the exact year, so don't butcher me on this. Like the late 80s. Okay. On our milk cartons, they would have pictures of missing children. That was the Amber Alert.
Yeah.
Okay. It was decided that was traumatic for children. You're making your cereal and you see a picture of a missing child. So when I talk about people being desensitized.
Yeah.
I almost made up a new word. It was a true story in a lot of households, or at the store. I mean, parents would tell kids, well, if you wander off, you're going to wind up on one of those milk cartons.
Wow.
So that's what we're saying. You have to find a balance. So what is the balance?
I think they have possibly hit upon something today that I saw, but I don't want to preempt you just in case you're going to mention it. So there was a mention about the Google ads that have gone up today, which I kind of think, I sent you a screenshot from Twitter earlier. Brandy has actually approved Google ads to go alongside Google pages that people are visiting of Monkey, and they've been put up today. So I guess in place of an Amber Alert, in place of a milk carton, people are going to start in the States are going to start seeing Monkey's face when they're on Google, because the adverts are going to show his face and that he's missing with his details on. So I thought that was quite interesting, considering they don't have an Amber Alert. That could be a great way of getting his face into people's homes by Google.
And I think that's an excellent idea. Miss Bree said, I've been seeing a lot of missing person ads on different websites.
That's exactly what's happening.
I never have, and I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah, me
Good
too.
for you, Brandy. I
Mhm.
wonder who suggested that to her.
Someone on Twitter, I think, has organised it with her. I sent you it in Messenger earlier.
No, let me go back and look. Somehow I missed that. I apologize.
That's okay.
They still say this case is a priority. The search continues for Michael. Jennifer, stick around. We've got questions from our viewers coming up about this case and Michael's disappearance. And if you'd like to submit a question now, you can do so. Tweet us by using the hashtag NewsNationPrime. We continue to follow the disappearance of 5-year-old Michael Vaughan in Fruitland, Idaho. Next here on News Nation Prime. It has been almost 5 months since a 5-year-old boy from Idaho, Michael Vaughan, disappeared from his family's home, walked out the front door, walked down the street. He has not been seen since. His mom and family are desperate for answers tonight, and we need the public's help as well. Jennifer Koffendorfer joining us once again with some of your questions tonight on this little boy's disappearance and the search for him now in Idaho and elsewhere. Jennifer, we have a couple of questions from Twitter tonight, and the first, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people are swarming around this question about Amber Alerts. This person asked, can we expect an Amber Alert from the Idaho State Police? What are the chances now that we know the circumstances?
Well, the Idaho State Police have known the circumstances, and even though they seem to be evolving toward classifying this as an abduction, I would say this is a bureaucratic decision that's being made by somebody who's never been boots on the ground and never been involved in an investigation like this. And I hope that this is pushed up their chain, hopefully to their director, who has experience in these cases and who might overturn this bureaucratic decision. There is absolutely no downside. There is nothing that will be desensitized. And in fact, it actually is the exact reason why an Amber Alert was created, this sort of case.
See if that process evolves. Jennifer, we have about 30 seconds to answer this last question. It is about the public's impact in these cases. They ask, what can we effectively do right now as a community to bring Michael Vaughan home? How can we help?
Well, of course, flooding social media with the circumstances and with photos of Michael Vaughan. In addition, reaching out to the Idaho State Police and imploring them to issue this alert. This is subjective. There are suggestions that are made in regard to when these alerts are issued. This is not a dogmatic precedent, and it's important for Michael Vaughan to receive an Amber so he can be found.
Jennifer Koffendorfer, as always, thank you, and thank you at home for your passion and your questions tonight. I want to put Michael's photo back on the screen for you tonight. If you have any information that can help in this case, there is now a $50,000 reward for anything that leads to Michael Vaughan's safe return. This little boy is 5 years old. He hasn't been seen since this summer. His mom on tonight, desperate for answers. She believes her little boy is alive. They call him Monkey because he is full of energy from the time he wakes up in the morning until the time he goes to sleep. Please help us to bring him home tonight. Thanks for watching. Click the red
Okay, and to my credit, Jennifer can't say desensitized right either.
I was saying that, but I was muted. So I was like sitting there like, well, you're not the only one, Brooks.
I'm not the only one. I almost made up a new word. I was going to look at a comment. Hang on one second. I think I lost it. So back to the Amber Alert. When it's an abduction, mind you, this is just my thoughts, and I'm not a lawmaker, and I can't get things done because I just have a YouTube platform. When it's an abduction, it should be nationwide.
Mm-hmm. But don't forget, they didn't rule this as an abduction until about 5 months afterwards.
Right, exactly. So when it gets to that point, and a child could be anywhere. Now, if you have a case like Breja Terrell, okay, and it's an Amber Alert, and everyone was screaming, well, it should be nationwide. Davenport pretty much already knew she was deceased. They already had Dinkins in jail on an unrelated charge. There was no reason for a nationwide panic. There was no reason. We have a similar case that we're discussing earlier this morning. So when it is a true abduction, that Amber Alert needs to be nationwide.
Yeah.
I totally disagree. Back in the 80s, when they said, if you put missing children on the TV, on the milk cartons and things like that, it's harmful to children. I disagree. I think children should be aware of their surroundings.
Right. I don't think parents, should have ever issued it as a punishment thing for their children, that they were going to get taken away and then their face would be on a milk carton. I mean, that is traumatic. If they'd have kept it to, well, that child's missing and that's why they're on the milk carton, and explained it to them, then it possibly wouldn't have been so difficult with it affecting children. I don't get that.
I said it to my cat the other day.
Oh, well, you can say it's your cat. I mean, you know, my cat's going to end up in a cat's home in Greece. I've already told them that a number of times.
Because you know the crazy stuff my cat does. I'm like, if we still had milk cartons, you'd be on one.
Right.
That's what you get.
But
all right, I've got another video file to put up. She was mentioning Marky. I found the clip, so we're going to look at this real quick.
Do you like a bit of Marky?
I do. I like her.
Yeah, me too.
Got it up there. All right. Missing Michael Vaughan. Amber Alerts are indeed an effective tool in cases where law enforcement has proof of abduction. As someone following Michael's case, you know that, at least at this time, and according to the Fruitland Police Department leading the investigation, that information doesn't currently exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when should there be an Amber Alert? Only for abduction? If you believe the parents are involved? Friend of the family? Could be, when? There's got to be a criteria that it's only for this certain case.
It's difficult because I quite often see Amber Alerts on Twitter. In fact, every day I think I see at least one Amber Alert on Twitter. And the next post on Twitter is that the child's been found within maybe an hour of the Amber Alert going up. So I kind of think, is it a good thing that they put an Amber Alert out for that child because they found the child? Or would they have found the child within an hour anyway without the Amber Alert, and they could have used that Amber Alert for a child that needed it more? I don't really know how to say that. A different situation, perhaps. A child that was in a different situation.
I think about the case of Sophie Long. This was custodial kidnapping.
Yeah.
I believe if they had issued in Texas an Amber Alert, she would not have been found in Mexico. Her father, he was arrested.
Yeah.
In Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I think had they had that Amber Alert when he refused to produce her, things would have been much different.
Right.
It's a key for us. Don't get me wrong. If people are paying attention, because not everyone does. And you have to admit that.
Yeah.
But for law enforcement, you're looking for this child.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for this child. You're looking for this child.
I mean, even if we take it to the, sort of theory, if you like, that perhaps it was on the 93 highway and out of state, would an Amber Alert in Idaho have made any difference, or would it make any difference now if Michael is not even in the state anymore? Would an Amber Alert in the state where he went missing from be of any use?
It would have to be a nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. If he was taken down 93 into Nevada, Nevada would have to have an Amber Alert.
Right.
If he's in Oregon, they would have to have an Amber Alert.
Mm-hmm. So if it went nationwide, more people across the states would be aware. I mean, if it was nationwide, then every person in every state would be notified, right?
Right. But it would have to fit certain criteria. If not, and it's sad to say this, you would be flooded with it. Because like I said, there's all types of different missing children.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we have something here called a silver. I can't pronounce anything today. Silver alert. And that's for basically an elderly person who has gotten lost. No one has seen them, and they walked away. They're in their car. It's always a dangerous situation.
Right.
It's found out very fast. With children, there's so many moving parts. Not in this case. Well, there's a ton of moving parts in this case. Is it the parents? Is it a friend? Is it a neighbor? It's got to be someone close to them.
Yeah.
In this case, it's someone not known to the family.
And it doesn't even appear known to the neighborhood.
Yeah. That's where I think you should have an Amber Alert, and it should be nationwide. I think about what the police have said in this case. If you see a child that doesn't look like they fit into that family, same with Sean Hornbeck.
Yeah.
Call us immediately. They're going to come right out there and find out, where did you find this child?
Right.
Like Elizabeth Smart. That woman was extremely intelligent. She knew her walking around with those two, she didn't fit in.
Yeah.
She knew something was wrong. And she got on
it.
Yeah. Jiggy. We will have to have chips for our children like our animals. Can you imagine when it becomes like that? Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I mean, the level of surveillance, I don't know how it is in America, but I know in this country, there's like more CCTV surveillance than people in this country. It literally is. Almost every single place you go is covered by CCTV. Now, that can be really helpful in the case of a missing child, but in terms of your liberty and freedoms to go about your business without being watched, I mean, it's pretty much like China in some places here, you know. You literally can't do anything without being on camera here. You're caught on camera something like 170 times a day just going about your daily business. So I don't know.
It's the same way here, but there's some areas that are very rural. And so no, they don't have cameras or anything set up. There's no traffic cams, anything like that. So but they know what area of town you're headed out of.
Right. But what I'm saying is if people get bothered, like people get bothered about it here, they're like, you know, I don't really want my face to be on facial recognition cameras everywhere I go, then can you imagine if you suggested putting microchips in their children? I mean, in theory it's an idea, but I don't know if it's a great one. I don't think people would react really very well to that at all. I can't see there being a national acceptance of microchipping children. It just seems something like Big Brother or 1984 or something, you know. It's really quite scary thought.
Just Me said, how about we tag the creeps?
Well, yeah. I mean, some of them have to wear ankle bracelets, don't they? But it doesn't really stop them from offending just because they're known. I mean, if known offenders are known, then it doesn't stop them from actually committing crimes, does it? Just because you know who they are.
No. And they'll figure out a way to get them off. I mean, they trick the ankle monitors all the time.
Right.
But I actually love the idea. I love the idea.
I mean, I think personally we should just put them all on an island and build a wall around it and just keep them all together and let them just, you know, kill each other or something. That would be a preferable idea in my opinion, but you know, keep them away from every child ever. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be in your country or our country a national effort towards children's safety. It doesn't seem to be a top priority or a top concern.
And if chips became available to put in your children, the ones that have the chips would never get abducted. It'd be the parents that don't care that come out and be like, well, that's against, you know, our freedom.
Religion. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then you get the people that went crazy thinking that Bill Gates was trying to put a microchip in their child so that he could control their internet access or something, you know. The conspiracy theories go crazy with microchip ideas, in my experience.
I got microchips all around me, but sorry, I'm not going to put one in my body or in my kids. But
Yeah.
my kids are adults now, so I'm like way past. Hey, American Amy, thanks for being here. She said she got to go. All right.
Thank you.
Is joining us once again tonight. She spent the last few days in Idaho, fresh off the plane, with an update on this story. Marky, one thing watching the piece last night, you in Idaho talking to Mom, that she said that stood out to me was she felt as though there was somebody watching their family around the time that Michael went missing. I went home last night and I could not get that thought out of my head. Did she elaborate as to why she believed that at that time?
You're right. It was a very eerie comment. And I actually just got off the phone a little bit ago with Brandy. I called her this afternoon and I said, could you give me a little bit more context of what you meant by that the other night when you said, my mama's heart intuition says that somebody was watching my family. And she said, she said, I'll preface this with the fact that I have no proof that anybody was watching my family. There wasn't a mysterious car sitting outside the house every day. There was not someone they didn't recognize walking down their street every day, but she did say it would have been rather easy for somebody, a stranger, to have picked up on the daily movements of her family. She said,
there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what, going back to what Nabila said earlier, isn't it? That like there's some, sinister person that's actually planned this quite carefully. It's quite scary.
And she's a smart lady. She knows that they have nothing to do with this. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be something from something, because it's not a person, it's a thing that's been watching their family. All right. A couple people said there's an echo. So
I'll mute myself again.
Poor cat. She's like, cat's in the corner.
You press rewind. This all happened July 27th. So it's summer, the kids are playing outside all the time, and she says her family goes on a nightly walk. They go to the area splash pad in that area park quite frequently. And she did acknowledge that this could have been a crime of opportunity, but Marnie, she did tell me it just would have been easy for somebody to know exactly what the family did day in and day out.
And much can be said of a mom's intuition, just our feeling in those moments. You talked to Mom, obviously, Marky, but Dad was the one who was home at the time that Michael went missing. Have you spoken to Dad? At least did you while you were in Idaho?
We didn't. And that's a question I've gotten from a lot of people. As you know, Marnie, Michael has an army of supporters behind him online. And I've had so many people say, where is Dad? Did you talk to him? And I asked that, to Brandy this afternoon as well. I said, we didn't talk to Dad. Dad wasn't even at the home the evening that we did this sit-down interview with Brandy. And actually going to Idaho, we knew that the dad would not be taking part. And she reiterated this afternoon, it's hard for him to relive that evening and the guilt that he feels, day in and day out.
I 100% believe this.
Yeah,
not just from the times that I looked away and I was like, oh my God. And my children got away from me. I mean, not all three at once, but I mean, actually that did happen one time. I'm like, where the hell did they go? But from stories I get from other people in chat, I mean, like one lady was in here and she said, I lost my daughter for like 30 minutes at Disneyland or Disney World. And she was like, scariest moment of my life.
Right.
And considering that he was thinking we're going to find him around here somewhere. He's monkey. He's all over the place. He is holding himself accountable. He's holding himself responsible as opposed to the person that has done this, because there's no face to put with who has monkey.
There's no one physically to blame at the moment. There's no one they can picture in their mind, so they're blaming. Well, Tyler certainly is blaming himself, I can imagine, which is unfair and unfounded. But I can empathize with why he would feel like that. He doesn't necessarily need to, but I think that's just human reactions to how you would feel in this situation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night blaming
Mm,
myself. The
right.
truth is, he did not
Mm-mm.
tell Monkey, oh, yeah, go ahead and play outside by yourself.
Right.
It's been clearly explained what happened. And
Mm.
like you said, unfounded.
Hmm. But even so, when you feel like really guilty about something, and it doesn't matter how many people tell you that you're not to blame, you still feel inside like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And he just doesn't want that public. And there's a kind of understandable, I can relate to that kind of feeling of, doesn't matter how many times anyone tries to reassure me that I'm not to blame, I still feel like maybe I am in some way.
And I feel awful. I feel terrible for him. And I
Yeah,
feel
me too.
awful for the siblings
Yeah,
that knew that Monkey left the residence and what happened.
right.
In one way, shape, or form, they're blaming themselves.
Yeah,
Brandy is saying I should have never gone to work. She has said it.
right. Yeah,
They're
I
all
know.
blaming themselves. So let's light the chat up. Support for the family, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of areas of the dirty, dirty internet. They are not getting it. They're
Mm,
not getting it. Big T's mom. When you care, you blame yourself.
right.
Or I should have done this or that. When you care,
Mhm.
you
It's a
blame
very
yourself.
pointed comment. That's a very pointed comment, and I don't want to bring up another case, etc. But I kind of feel like you blame yourself. You don't put the blame on 100 other people that you've met in your entire lifetime that could have possibly been in the state at the time. You blame yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not pointing fingers at anyone that
Mhm.
they have ever come across.
Right.
They're begging for
Mhm.
help. They're begging for help.
Yep.
And a lot of people, you're right, he was the only parent at home at the time. She was at work across town. And so he has been met with criticism and questions. Both parents have been interrogated as suspects at one point. And she said he's met with so much meanness that he just won't go on camera anymore. And she did want to say at every press conference, which you really just hear from mom.
Wow. He is met with so much meanness, he just can't go on. Like he's not beating himself up enough. Let me tell you, I'm not politically correct. We all know that, okay?
We ain't woke.
We ain't woke around here. Here's the whole thing. We do not know what is going on in people's lives. Now, when it's in our face, we can easily talk about it because it's obvious.
Mm.
This is not obvious.
No.
This is not obvious. The only thing obvious here is that little monkey was abducted, and his father feels responsible. His mother has even said, I should have never gone to work. Oh, and Amber, I just hope and pray people don't start protesting in front of their home. I worry about that too. I do. There's too many crazies out there. There's too many crazies.
She did say he's at front row crying at every press conference. So he is in that room. She's just the one who's publicly sharing the story.
All right. I appreciate the clarification because it is a question we get asked, but put yourself in those parents' shoes right now. We all behave and choose to do things differently. Thank you, Marky. All right. So talk to us about the geography around Fruitland, the area that police have searched. I know there's the Snake River is nearby. Have they looked there?
Yeah, so I actually think it's a beautiful part of the country, and it kind of reminds me of Texas or Oklahoma, expansive farmland. You're talking about fields that go for miles. But the Snake River, I think, is the most important part of the geography piece of this puzzle, because a lot of folks are asking, and you see it right here on your screen, this river, the Snake River, is just a mile to the west of the house. And a lot of people said, well, did he venture out there and get swept downstream? Police have searched this river downstream all the way to Oregon and found nothing. But I will say just, based on my talks with Mom and seeing that there's not a bike trail that takes you all the way to the Snake River, for that little 5-year-old boy to go out at 6:30 at night, practically in his pajamas, and be seen knocking door to door, trying to find friends to play with. There's a pizza on the way. It's hard to imagine that a little 5-year-old boy would have ventured all the way a mile through thicket, forest, fields, and gotten to that river. I'm not saying he's not there. If he were to be found there, I just don't think, I think it would be at the hands of something sinister. It's hard to imagine he would have made it there all the way by himself.
It just doesn't add up. And my heart breaks, Marky. Where is little Michael? 5
And I agree 100% with her. Exactly. Pizza's on the way. He was looking for friends to play with. And he's not going to be like, today's the day that I'm going to play Boy Scout and try to figure out how to get down to the Snake River.
Right.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see it either. Plus, they would have found him within that time frame.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since they started searching the river very early on.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been absolutely amazing. Thank you for being here for Monkey. I'm putting more stuff together for our next show about him. Kat has some other videos that I haven't put up yet. And it's got to be done because it's absolutely amazing work.
Thank you. I have a whole playlist, I was saying, but I think I got muted.
I had to because there's an echo.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realise. I can't hear it my end, so I'm just relying on you to mute me. That's fine. But yeah, I have a whole...
I would never mute you. And Georgia Peach even said, don't ever put Kat in the corner.
I saw that. I was laughing. Thank you, Shannon.
All right, you guys are the best. Thanks for being here, Kat.
Thank you very much.
Always amazing work. Love it when you're on panel. Thank you so much.
Love coming. I'll see you guys in Discord in a bit.
Yep, see you in about 30 seconds.
Okay, hon. Bye.
Bye. This is a really tough one, guys. I'm not going to lie, because it's the unknown. This is the unknown. This isn't, it's got to be one of a cast of characters. This is the unknown. So let's stay on top of this. Let's share this video, share Monkey's flyer, share Kat's videos, novelists. Let's please get this out there. I'm telling you, it's super important. It is super important because it's extremely likely he is alive and he is with someone. It's extremely important. So let's get the word out there, guys. I put the flyer on the community page again yesterday on YouTube. On the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook page. It's on there several times. I'm going to repost it as soon as we get off. And in the meantime, guys, you guys are the best. I'm not joking. You are the best community, the best chat. Of course, we have the best mods on YouTube. I have some emails to answer. If they're for Discord, I apologize. I haven't gotten to them yet, but I will. If you want to come in Discord, send me an email and I will get you in there. In the meantime, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you back here at 9 a.m. Don't forget, be Brandy strong. Prayers for the family and for little Michael Vaughan. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.